There exists within planet Earth a fantastic type of player. This type of player spams large normals and bravely fight against grapplers. When the Ungamunga rise, the word goes out, calling all Axel mains! Axel Lowe is the only respectable British person, except for the new Cammy redesign, but that's just because she's hot as fuck. He's a pretty cool guy, and you can tell he's a cool guy because he says it in his win quote. The only problem with Axel, despite his motherland, is that he's a zoner, and since most of my audience is big-bodied enjoyers, Axel is basically the Antichrist. So allow me, someone whose first fighting game was technically BlazBlue Cross Tag, but that's just because I wanted to play the funny detective man, walk you through the ins and out of the box that is Axel Lowe. Axel is a zoner, which means that he scares the hose away with his long-range normals, creating a zone of safety for himself. The big buttons he's going to press is going to be 2H, which catches dash-ins and backdashes, 2S, which catches jump-ins, and 5P, which catches gold lures. But that's all the optimal boring shit out of the way, so let's talk about the funny stuff. Now, if you're a JoJo's fan derogatory and hear that he has a time stop, you're gonna say, "Is that a JoJo reference?" But if you're a JoJo fan affectionate, then you know it's a JoJo's reference and are going to spend that time taunting your opponent. But he has another cool move called Axel Bomber. Did he actually name this move after himself? When looped, deals 75% of your health, which is really cool to give to a zoner, by the way. And finally, the funniest move of them all, Winter Mantis, a full-screen command grab that acts faster the further you are away. And, thanks to the recent patch, now provides hard knockdown at the end of a combo. Winter Mantis, my beloved. And I guess he also has Renson, but like, who cares about that? If you want to mentally break your opponent, just run in and grab. Axel Lowe's design started out pretty rough, and then got good, and then got bad, and then got good again. For whatever reason, every other iteration of Axel Lowe, they give him jorts. So fortunately, we live at a time where he wears pants like a respectable person. His earlier iteration, especially one from Missing Link, had him more of a gruff and tumble sort of guy. And now he's just a twink, so take that as you will. He also wears the Union Jack like he's actually proud of being British. He's a little confused, but he's got heart. Lore-wise, Axel Lowe is probably one of the funniest ones out there. See, Axel grew up in Doncaster, and surrounded by rampant knife crime, decided to deal with the problem personally. And so he beat up every criminal on the street by himself and told them to be nice. And then he totally bangs Not Eno, forcing him into a time slip situation. You see, he doesn't really get to control where he goes, he just accidentally wanders in some different time frames. So sometimes he shows up and it's pretty peaceful. Other times he shows up in the middle of the apocalypse. And his honest reaction to all of this is, it could be worse. Also, if you want to mess with anyone and tell them about Guilty Gear lore, try to explain the situation between Axel, Eno, Will, and Megami, because that shit is bonkers. Naturally, when Axel is put in such dangerous circumstances, he has to think a little out of the box. Guys, please laugh. That was the only joke I have, please. Out of the Box is Axel Lowe's theme, and it's the only song my mom likes from the Guilty Gear soundtrack. It's the kind of song I listen to when I just need something to pick me up. You see, the song is about Axel Lowe's optimism. All of the Guilty Gear songs follow what these people would assume is the best life someone to live. And for Axel Lowe, a best life to live is one where you're constantly optimistic. Now, I would go deeper into the lyrics of the song, but a lot of them are kind of just filler. Talking about a dog he saw on the side of the road, the smell of the cafe as he walked past. But there are some pretty key lines. You see, Axel has experienced a lot in his life. Shifting through time, he's probably seen a lot of the same day over and over again. While some would get bored with the repetition, Axel finds it amusing, saying that there's always more to discover in everyday life. And so, time is never frozen for him, it's constantly expanding as he experiences new things. So why should you play Axel Lowe? You should pick Axel if you want to piss everyone off, but still be the coolest guy in the room. I have talked to several Axel mains, and they're all the coolest people. As always, I've been Old Reliable, and thank you all for watching. I'm going to have a little bit more time in my hands now, so I'm going to probably be posting a little bit more. That and streaming too. I'm going to be streaming here on YouTube, and speaking of streaming, on the 12th is going to be the One Button Tournament, so you should really check that out. It's going to be right here on my YouTube channel where I stream it. I have a Twitter too, where I shitpost, and I'm going to ask you all to tag me in any pretty witch ladies you see online. And I also have a Discord, so feel free to stop by, there's some pretty cool people. Thank you all for the continued support, here's your rat, and have a good one.